there's people out there who are, yep, okay, I'm an independent support worker and I don't need to worry about my police check or my yellow card or blue card, any of those things because I've got an ABN and I can just send an invoice to a plan manager and job done.
Yeah. Yeah, on that, gosh, I don't know if I should express a controversial opinion or not. I've opened the Pandora's box and let's go for
Well,
it.
yeah. So I think we're on the same page there. That's
Yeah, I want to
some
say
of the things.
something about that, about independence, right? So, like, gosh, all right. So, some people are very fiercely protective of independent support workers, and I get it. I do get it. I know there's the time and the place, and there's the personalization, and of course, choice and control is important. But I do worry about because you've got unregistered providers as a company, right? That's one thing, and I think it's obvious that they should absolutely become registered. But the independence that it's just by themselves, like, here's my honest opinion if you can, as per the price guide, charge you $67.56, whatever it is, for an hourly rate, and then you've got obligations as a company to ensure, pay people as per the SHADS award and train them and all the compliance. You've got to do so many hoops you've got to jump through, right? And I think that's fair, and that's what should be expected to be a competent business owner. But the rub that I've got is that if you're an independent support worker, there are certain things that legally you're meant to do, but unfortunately, there's a really good chance that a lot of them don't happen because there's not really a mechanism to check whether they're happening. And I guess the thing that annoys me a bit is that basically 30 to 40% gap, i.e., they get to charge the full rate. Why is it that some individual that gets to have all those benefits but doesn't get the scrutiny?
Exactly. Exactly. I can actually also give you an example that one of the things that really, yeah, made me not like the whole independent thing was we were actually supporting a client who had a independent support worker. This independent support worker, as time went on, well, not so much as time went on, it depended who you spoke to or who you were in front of, whether this independent support worker was her support worker or was the person's partner.
And that
And this
boundaries.
is exactly what happened. So, this person was getting paid a carer's pension as a partner to look after this NDIS participant. And then, unknowingly to ourselves as one service provider, uh, I believe the support coordinator was aware of it and had made reports to the NDIS. This person was then getting paid over $5,000 a week for overnight shifts to provide care and the ad hoc hours in between us being there during the day.
Mm-hmm.
So double dipping, boundaries, just can of worms.
Mm-hmm.
Just how many other stories out there are like that because he didn't have to be registered.
And there's no oversight. So for example, when I was the director of a previous provider, we had a complaint that we had to lodge. And I'm not an aggressive type, but when I see something done wrong, I will lodge it, right? And we lodged a complaint as reportable about an unregistered provider. And what I learned through that from speaking to the Quality and Safeguards Commission was that their words literally were like, well, yeah, we can follow up with them and we can remind them that they need to follow the NDIS code of conduct. But that's it. There's no,
Yeah.
unless there's legally a crime that's happened, that's it. There's no, like, that's the most they can crack the whip. We need to have that
Like,
looming
okay, you need to pay
consequence.
the money back and you need to pay a fine, or,
Yeah,
there needs,
something more,
yeah,
right? Or i.e. your registration. That's the point of being registered. It's
yeah,
like if you royally bugger it up, your registration could go, and therefore you can't do business. Like, there needs to be that knock-on effect. There needs to be a consequence, for it to be a quality system. I think it's a bit broken in that regard. There's not an even playing field.
yes, totally agree.
All right. So while we're on the thread, I'm glad I didn't go too out there. And by the way, for anyone that's listening to this that might be an independent, this is not about bagging individual humans. I'm trying to refer to the systems level thinking. I know that everyone's
Yeah,
incredible at what they do in terms of the heart and the intent, but I think it's a bit broken as a system. Yeah.
yeah. I
Um,
guess there's definitely pros and cons to both,
sure.
I get it, the independence, the relationships, the trust that's built, those kinds of thing.
Yep.
The other side of it, what happens if you fall sick? What happens if you want to go on holidays?
Yep.
Like, who's gonna, yeah. So there's pros and cons to both. And
Yeah. Yes. And the cons are pretty serious, right? If you've got a vulnerable person.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I always say to my clients, like, hey, You don't have to worry about when someone's sick and going on holiday. That's my problem. I'll fix it. And it makes them feel safe, because that's what we do.